I didn't do it. I'm innocent. I'm being framed. Words countless defendants have uttered to their attorneys when faced with the prospect of incarceration, the cold, windowless walls of a courthouse lockup pressing in on them from all sides. Those were the words uttered by Karen Reed to her attorneys when she was arrested by the Massachusetts State Police for the death of her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. Yeah, sure. What's more likely? That Karen Reed is guilty and looking for excuses to avoid accountability for her crimes? Or that there's a grand conspiracy, a cover-up, and a frame job going on among state and local law enforcement to pin a crime on an innocent woman? Well, Karen, stuck between a rock and a tall blue wall, hired the best lawyers and proved that things are not always as simple as they seem. I'm Marina. With me I have my best friend Laura, and this is Grim.
Oh boy.
I am so fired up about this
I know
episode.
you are. You've been texting me about it, and I don't know anything about it. I don't think. Maybe there will be parts of it that I recognize when you go through it, but it's so funny because I know you want to tell me all about it, like in text. I think you told your hairdresser about it.
I did. I've been telling my husband about it too, and I've just been screaming at their faces, and no one's appreciating it as much as I am.
But I'm here, scream in my face for the next hour. And Finny's here.
Finny is
always.
here, yes.
And we hear you. I'm not going to lock up the cat. I'm not going to do anything. It's not even my cat, but I'm just saying, like, everybody's like, please keep the cat.
I love the message that was like, love the cat, tell him I said pss, 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 pss.
Oh, me too. That made me laugh.
That made me laugh too.
Yeah, anyway, the cat's not going anywhere.
No, he's here. He's here to stay.
Yep.
And for what it's worth, his brother is just as loud and angrier. Okay, so I had this case on my radar a while ago when the trial was in the news, and while it was going on, I was talking about it with attorneys and yeah, in a room. It fell off my radar, and then there was a Facebook ad of like an in-depth article covering the case, and I just like perused it a little bit and was like, yeah. Yep.
Also, just as an aside, Marina is the target audience for Facebook ads. She, you know how you're like, I know if I click this, I'm going to get more stuff in the future. She's like, yes, and here's my credit card information. And look what I just got. And you get some good stuff.
I've gotten some good shit off of Facebook ads, so don't come for me.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here for you.
I don't know why Finny
is losing his mind right now.
Noisy.
He's like, oh, everybody loves me? Okay. Maybe I do have to threaten him.
Maybe you do. Okay. Is he Maybe he's downstairs.
Oh,
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm going to go with a yes.
I'm so pumped about this case. Okay, as an aside, I just went to check on Finny, and that's actually not Finny. That would be his brother Iggy, who is downstairs at the door screaming to be let upstairs.
As you said, he's louder and angrier.
He is.
Great. Okay.
So we'll see if we could just work through it.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome, Gremlins.
So for this case, I read the 2 Vanity Fair articles by Julie Miller. Karen Reed tells her story part 1, a murder trial in Massachusetts, and Karen Reed tells her story part 2, a new trial looms in Massachusetts. For what it's worth, those articles are not neutral at all, and neither will my case presentation.
Okay.
So if you're looking for a neutral presentation of this case information, move along, because you're not going to get it here.
Nope.
But I just want to fully admit, like, I understand the news articles on this case are very one-sided on either way. Okay, I also read a timeline of the Karen Reed case and the story behind the high-profile Massachusetts murder trial by Matt Shuley. I listened to as much of the trial testimony as I could jam in to like the last 4 days. It was from a podcast called Full Trial Audio Karen Reed.
Okay.
Which is a very creative name.
Yep.
And
is
then
that serial, or are they different every episode? I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, it's Full Trial Audio. And then, which by the way, I was listening to one of them them and it was really, really soft. So I had to turn up all the way.
Oh,
well,
no.
you know, it's not really soft. The ads. I was in the car and my soul left my body. I almost died. And then I just Googled like odds and ends to fill in the story from a gazillion news articles. Like couldn't track them all.
Every time you present a case that's like relatively in our area, and the state police of Massachusetts, like that's, you know, I always feel like, man, I live under a rock because I don't remember any. I mean, what year was this ish?
2024.
Okay, so I was young.
Yes.
Was it really?
Back in the day. It was a Tuesday.
Wednesday. Yeah. But that makes me feel actually better because now all my free time is spent either with my son or doing research for other grim cases. So I don't have time to read anything new.
That's fair.
So that makes me feel better.
I do have a really hard time keeping up with things as they're going on because we are always immersed in. Yeah. So unless it's the case we're immersed in, which we don't tend to do because then we don't have all the information.
Exactly.
So anyways,
and as you say, the weeks start coming and they don't stop coming.
No, in the eternal words of Smash Mouth, the days keep coming and they don't stop coming. Okay. And
you are so jazzed about this case.
I'm amped. And I had 2 Celsius this morning. They don't jack me up like they do you, but I am jacked for this case.
I can tell.
And I only had
one today.
Okay. I was going to say there's a lot of information that I was trying to jam in here. Some of it's random. Some of it's chronological. Sometimes I'm sort of jumping around to try to make the information fit. So if at any point you have questions or I'm like missing information, just interrupt me.
And that only goes for me because you all will have, it'll be too late.
Correct.
Sorry.
No questions for you.
And none for you, Glenn Coco.
And finally, we are switching things up this week in that we are going to do Patreon shout outs at the end of the episode. We have almost double our usual Patreons and a special shout out for bride-to-be Casey. Woo. So I want to say thank you to everybody. You guys are the absolute best. You make this podcast possible and you keep us keeping on. And for our 2 highest tiers, you can now access 25 bonus episodes, or P-bonies as we call them. And our highest tier gets you access to our Discord where we discuss true crime, life, and pets. It's also where I share videos of Finny and my other noisy cats for anyone who is dying to learn more about them. So if you are a new Patreon, you will get your full shout out at the end of the episode. So stay tuned.
And this is, as you said, we have so many. It literally would be like a couple
33
minutes. Right. A couple minutes going through, not a big deal. That would be like 6 minutes or more. And it is funny because we will get emails or messages or like direct messages or whatever. And like one of them will be like, I love the shout out. That's awesome. Thanks for doing this. And then like literally the next message is like, I stopped listening because you have shout outs. We're like, okay, well, you can't please everyone.
You can't please everybody.
So this is a good compromise.
Yes. Okay. So let's get into it.
Okay.
I'm so jazzed.
Okay. I can tell.
Okay. So today we're talking about Boston police officer John O'Keefe and his girlfriend Karen Reed. I'm going to give you a little bit of their background together. John and Karen rekindled an old fling in the spring of 2020 when the pandemic was shutting everything down. John and Karen had first met at a birthday party in 2004. Karen thought John was cute, the two exchanged numbers, and they dated for a few months before it fizzled out. John was the one to rekindle the connection when he reached out to Karen on Facebook. Hey, blast from the past. How's things? Karen hadn't spoken to John in 16 years, but the former couple were quickly reconnected. Karen thinks that the tragedies that had happened to Karen and John since they last dated led to their quick, deep bond. Karen had endured 10 surgeries in 18 months to treat and diagnose Crohn's disease.
Oh, jeez.
Less than a year after her 10th surgery, she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's tough.
And John, too, suffered tragedy in the decade and a half since they had spoken. In 2013, John lost his sister, Kristen, to brain cancer. She passed away within 5 months of the diagnosis.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's awful.
Ugh. And within 2 months, his brother-in-law died of a heart attack. So he lost both his sister and his brother-in-law in the span of 2 months.
Do you know it wasn't the brother, it wasn't the husband of his sister?
Yes.
Like, the ones that were,
yes.
Because you could have, it could be his sister's husband.
It was both. It was, yes, it was his sister and her husband.
What tragedy.
And with their deaths, John had to step in as the father figure to his niece. Wow.
There's a lot of...
Why do I have a speech impediment all of a sudden?
I don't know. It's okay. I support you.
His niece, Kaylee, and his nephew, Patrick, who they called him Uncle JJ.
Oh.
It's
These
so
are
sad.
very, very South Boston names, by the way. These are all very Irish.
Yeah.
Very South Boston.
I was going through my notes today and I was like, Boston. And I was like, oh no.
No.
As I mentioned, Karen and John quickly developed a deep bond, especially during the pandemic, where interactions were limited outside of immediate friends and family. Karen was an equity analyst and adjunct professor at Bentley University, so she was able to work remotely to help John with Kaylee and Patrick, overseeing their Zoom schooling.
Oof, tough. Yeah.
Yeah. John was working a desk job in the Sex Offender Registry Information Unit in downtown Boston, a job he was graciously given by the Boston PD to ensure stability and safety in light of his current family situation.
Oh, that's nice.
That is nice. Karen got along well with the children, which caused some tension in her relationship with John. John felt that Karen got to step into the role of the fun parent and spoil the kids while John was in charge of the discipline.
That is hard.
Karen felt that John never adequately mourned his sister's death and that both him and the children had complicated emotional needs. John attended a therapy session once with his niece and nephew, but he ended up checked out. John came from a South Boston, rub some dirt on it way of dealing with things. The couple eased their tensions from work, the kids, and their relationship with alcohol.
As you do.
After a few drinks, they were both more relaxed, although many times they simply paid for it the next morning. They got into a cycle of pretty heavy drinking. On a New Year's group vacation to Aruba in 2022, John and his friends would crack beers at 10 a.m. and drink until sundown or man down. Which I'm on board for this vacation strategy, the sundown or man down. But Karen said that she caught John kissing another woman in Aruba.
Oh, no.
Yeah, although the woman denied anything happened. She said they were just hugging. It was like a point of contention. And, they had ups and downs in their relationship. Yeah. Maybe out of spite, Karen engaged in her own flirtation a few weeks later with someone John knew, Brian Higgins, an ATF agent. Nothing came of it, but it may have been a tit-for-tat situation, and it made Karen feel attractive.
Sorry.
A tit-for-tat situation. On the evening, I was like ready to jump right into it. We're going to talk about the night in question.
Okay, all right.
Which I have labeled the night in question. On the evening of January 28th, 2022, John and Karen went out for drinks at the Waterfall Bar and Grill in Canton, Massachusetts, a quaint cop town 15 miles southwest of Boston. They were with Brian Albert, a former Marine and 30-year veteran of the Boston Police Department in charge of the fugitive apprehension team, and his wife, Nicole. Brian's brother, Chris, who was a town select board member, and his wife, Julie. Brian's sister-in-law, Jennifer McCabe, and McCabe's husband, Matt, plus Brian Higgins, the ATF agent, and then another unrelated couple.
I would feel very safe in that location.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Very safe.
Everybody knows what's up there. Yeah. John and Karen could be seen canoodling in the bar and getting along, despite the fact that they had gotten into an argument earlier in the day. They had their ups and downs, as I mentioned. Now, that night, a literal blizzard was expected to begin. It was the blizzard of January 2022. I don't know if it had a name. Anyways, as snow began to fall and last call approached, Brian Albert invited everyone over to his house at 34 Fairview Road, also in Canton, to continue drinking and to celebrate his son's 23rd birthday. Brian was a townie raised with 7 other siblings, so he was basically known or related to everyone.
Yeah, really.
He had appeared on the Donnie Wahlberg-produced reality show, Boston's Finest, which I'm sure only increased his infamy in the area. His younger brother, Kevin Albert, was also in law enforcement as a Canton cop, and Chris, as I mentioned, was a town select board member. Well-connected, well-known.
Yep.
It was a little after midnight when Karen dropped John off at Brian's house. John was eager to hang out with Brian, who was kind of a big deal. He had also helped capture the Craigslist killer and unmasked the Boston Strangler.
Damn.
Yeah, he's like pretty cool. It's like pretty cool.
That's super cool.
When Karen dropped John off, she noticed there weren't many cars in the driveway, and she questioned whether they were at the right address. John said he would check it out and report back. Karen headed to John's house and arrived by 12:36 a.m. Karen tried to get a hold of John to make sure he was at the right place and everything was okay, but she couldn't get a hold of him. Having had a few drinks that night, she got a little paranoid, I think. That's me hypothesizing.
We all do.
Yeah.
We all do.
She questioned John's motives in wanting to go to Brian's since she knew a former flame of John's lived near there. Karen called John but got his voicemail. At 12:37 a.m., she left him a message yelling, and these are snippets from it. John, I fucking hate you.
Oh, no.
Karen was at John's house where she lived part-time, and she was with his niece, Kaylee, who was home alone when she got there. She left another voicemail at 12:59 a.m. John, I'm here with your fucking kids, and nobody knows where the fuck you are, you fucking pervert. At 1:18, Karen said, John, I'm going home. I cannot babysit your niece. You're fucking using me right now. You're fucking another girl. You're a fucking loser. Fuck yourself.
That sounds very Boston. She's only like kind of annoyed. She's not that mad.
I think of it's not Boston. It's another town, but I think of The Fighter where he's like, Charlene, Charlene.
Yeah.
Karen didn't leave though and fell asleep at John's house. Now I also thought of, so, they're like, look at her. She's so mad at him. Like she wants to, like she hates him.
No.
And I was like, I have a friend who, I don't know if she still does it because it's been a while. No,
okay.
But I have a friend where every time she got like drunk, like beyond buzz, like drunk, her boyfriend was cheating on her. She'd cry. They were breaking up. She hated him like every time. Like that was her drunk. So that's why I was like, this could be one of those situations.
She got in her own head.
Yeah. She got in her own head.
It's a combination, I think, of that maybe being that kind of person and also just like I think saying fucking in between every other word is kind of like honking in Boston. It's just communicating. You're just making the point. Like I honk around here.
I hate you.
My husband's like, you really need to stop doing that. I'm like, I'm just letting them know that what they did was wrong. But I don't, how else am I supposed to do that? Yeah. So jury's still out, no pun intended, but jury's still out on that. I think she wasn't that mad. I think she was annoyed, but just a little peeved.
That's fair. I like it. That's a good extra analysis. Those were words that not the ones I was looking for. Good insight. Insight was the word that the drawer got stuck when I was trying to retrieve it.
It's like rattling the silverware drawer.
Yes. Yep.
Or junk drawer, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
About 4 hours later, Karen woke up and realized that John wasn't in bed and that he had never made it home. She panicked. She called John's friends and family, but no one had seen him. At 4:23, John's niece Kaylee called Brian Albert's sister-in-law, Jennifer McCabe, who was also a friend of John's. She wanted to know if she had seen John. Jennifer could hear Karen screaming in the background, John didn't come home, we had a fight. Karen called John's phone 53 times trying to find him.
Oh boy. But hold on. I got to back up for a second. So she drops him off at Brian's house. And Brian's this big deal. They're going to go hang out. They're not like super good friends. They just like kind of knew each other.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think they were like super close, but I think this group of people
all mingled. Okay.
Yeah, hung out.
So, and then he was going to get a ride home or something. Like she wasn't going to go pick him up.
I don't think so because she went to sleep.
Right.
Or I don't know if maybe she originally planned to pick him up, but then she got so pissed off and never heard back from him.
And then I'm curious, I guess she wouldn't have known the other people well enough to, because if my husband's supposed to be somewhere that I kind of know people.
Right.
And then he's not answering, I'm going to, like, if I think something's wrong, I'm going to call people around. But I guess maybe she wasn't thinking terribly clearly either.
No, and at that point, I think she was just pissed, and she just figured he was ignoring her.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Until she woke up and he didn't come home, and he was ignoring her, and she just felt like something was wrong.
Okay, all right.
At
Thank
that
you.
point.
Thank you for rehashing the last few pages.
You're welcome. I got you. Around 5 a.m., Karen left John's house to go search for him at Brian Albert's with her friend Carrie Roberts and Jennifer McCabe, who had been at the house when Karen dropped off John that night. Karen was in a rush and had a minor fender bender with John's SUV when she was backing out of the driveway.
Whoops. Cracking
her passenger side taillight. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, we're not judging.
I don't have a good record with concrete poles in parking garages, depth perception and whatnot. When the group got near Brian's house, Karen was the first to spot John. He was unconscious in the front yard, covered in snow, with blood pooled around his nose and mouth.
I do remember hearing some. I don't know. This is all still going to be a surprise to me, but that I finally remember.
You might recognize a few other pieces, but yeah, this is the case that you're thinking of.
I don't know if I heard someone do, like a podcast do this case, but I do remember there being lots of debate on the body being like there, and would you, like, yes. I don't, it's going to be one of those like tip of my tongue things, so maybe I should just like let you tell the case.
Story.
Yep.
And this is a case where people feel very strongly on both sides. No one's like, I'm not sure. Like, they feel very strongly
that's
about
pressure.
what happened.
Oh boy. Okay.
You're okay. So Karen finds John. She clears snow from his face and begins mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Carrie began chest compressions, and Jennifer called 911. Karen even tried covering John's body with her own to warm him up. She pulled up her shirt and his shirt. His body had cooled to 80 degrees.
Oh my God.
Yeah. First responders were quick to arrive and took over the scene. They put John on a stretcher to work on him in better lighting. It was noted that there was grass under John's body, which became a point of contention later on. As the red lights lit up the quiet neighborhood and the paramedics attempted to save John's life, neighbors came out to take in the scene and take pictures. Notably absent from the scene was Brian Albert, or any of his family, which was strange given the spectacle that was taking place right in front of his house and on his lawn.
Yeah.
Brian said he and his family slept through the whole event, even though their bedroom overlooked the front lawn.
Okay. I mean, I love to play devil's advocate. Like, I don't know. I sleep with a white noisemaker, and what if you had your blinds drawn and all that, and sirens?
Blackout curtains,
maybe.
I guess.
The sirens, I guess, would be hard. I'm just saying it's possible.
A former Marine and fugitive apprehension unit 30-year BPD veteran sleeps through a crew of fire trucks and policemen on his front lawn.
No.
Anyways, Canton Police Department were the ones who responded first. This is Brian Albert's brother's co-workers, essentially. If you recall, Kevin Albert is a Canton police officer. They didn't secure Brian's home in any way or search it in any way. They went in to speak with the individuals inside, but only after they sent in Jennifer McCabe to wake everybody up and let them know what was going on. The Canton police then interviewed Jennifer McCabe with all of the Alberts present at the same time. The interview was about 10 minutes and wasn't recorded in any way.
Oh, no. And, we're very early on, and we'll, I'm sure, get more into this, but it's really stressful when it's possibly when a police officer or someone well respected like that, or well known or well loved, not even in that position necessarily, but when they could be responsible for something, because people are just automatically like, oh, it's not them. It could never be them.
Right. So it's not a big deal.
And that's why procedure is so important. Anyway, I know we're going to get into that, but that's so, even if, regardless of which way this case goes, that's why procedure is so important. You want to do it
by the book.
Exactly.
Because someone's going to claim a conflict of interest or favoritism, so you should push the rules harder.
Exactly.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure that one of the first things they teach you at the police academy is to separate witnesses. I learned that as a police explorer. Pretty well known.
It's a good litmus test. If I know it, then it's well known.
Yeah, it's widely known. Karen did not understand how he could have ended up on the lawn in his current condition. She said, "Did I hit him? Could I have hit him?"
What? Like with her car?
Yeah.
Oh.
Firefighters and EMTs were seeking to gain information from Karen about John as they worked on him. According to them, Karen said multiple times, "I hit him. I hit him. I hit him. I hit him."
What?
In response to the questions as to what happened to him. Karen immediately became a person of interest, with the police suspecting that she may have hit John with her SUV when she left the night before.
I did not know this case, because that's not what I...
Now, here's almost what I think when she's asking that. So we'll get into it, but I think she was relatively intoxicated the night before. And I wonder if, she was like brown out when she was driving him home, or driving when she shouldn't have been. And you get that hangover pit in your stomach. Like, did I do this and forget? Like, how is he where he is? Like, did I hit him? Like, so I think it was, she just couldn't process what was going on. And she was like, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Because she couldn't think of any other reason why he would be on this guy's lawn.
That's what the part I remember about this case. Sorry, I'm like sitting way back because I forgot we were doing a podcast. I'm really into this case.
So Karen was also so distraught at that time that she herself was taken to Good Samaritan Hospital, which is where John was transported as well. The police had called in what's called a Section 12, meaning that Karen may be a danger to herself or others. She was stating that she couldn't go on living if her husband was gone. That's what she was calling him. You know, how would she take care of the kids? So the firefighters who originally treated John returned to the scene to Karen to respond to this Section 12. And Karen was on an emotional roller coaster, asking, is John dead? Is he dead? Is he dead? Do you know? She was sorrowful in 1 minute and belligerent the next. I mean, all over the place.
Was she still, I should let you tell me, was she still drunk at this point?
Not drunk, I think.
Or whatever, intoxicated.
By the time she got to the hospital, her blood alcohol content was 0.09%.
Okay, so she was probably feeling good, I think. Drunk
so?
is 0.08, right? Like,
No, the legal limit to drive is 0.08.
right. Oh, right.
Doesn't mean you're drunk.
Yeah. Okay.
You could have a glass of wine and it could put you at 0.09. It just depends on people. Yeah, it depends on the person. It's great. Like you could have someone who's acting completely normal and they're at a 0.2 because they're like a heavy drinker.
I have always wanted a breathalyzer, but you can't just like get, I mean,
They're
can't.
on Amazon.
Let me rephrase that. It would be questionable if I just had one.
No,
So
it wouldn't. People do them at parties to see I
just want to know.
Yeah, they just have them at parties. So I think say she was like 0.1, 0.2, somewhere in that range. She's someone that drinks frequently on the weekends, and then she enters a stressful situation. I bet you she didn't feel any of that.
You're probably right. Okay. I'm just trying to think I guess her distress is just literally from her boyfriend.
Yeah.
But,
and like adrenaline, like I've been at, I remember being at a Halloween party and I was like, buzzed and somebody got seriously hurt and I was like, and I'm so like,
you're right.
The adrenaline just takes over.
Okay. So she's just hysterical understandably, but hysterical.
And maybe the alcohol is affecting her emotions, but she probably isn't like drunk.
You're right.
That's my thought anyways.
Yeah, no, I think I forgot that they had been drinking a lot and all that. Yeah.
Okay. I did go to medical school as well. So, very smart.
Marina's medical corner.
Yeah, I'm very smart. And by medical school, I mean, I too drink a lot and and have a wealth of knowledge on the metabolizing alcohol. I'm just kidding. I just thought this through and that's what I think.
Okay.
So she denied needing treatment. She didn't want to go with them. But they told her that once the Section 12 is called in, she had to be evaluated at the hospital. And they're basically like, you can do this the easy way or you can do this the hard way. They're like, if you go willingly, you'll likely be released sooner than if they had to force her. And ultimately, she agreed to go. Karen was brought around 8 a.m., which is around the time that John was declared dead at the same facility. His cause of death was hypothermia and blunt force trauma to the head. He didn't have a pulse at the scene when first responders first arrived, but when it comes to hypothermia, you aren't dead until you're warm and dead.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Crazy.
Well, that's, I can't remember where I heard this now. It had to be on I think it was part of the testimony, where they said like, you aren't dead until you're warm and dead.
Yeah.
Because they've had people where you can't feel a pulse. And they will, as their body warms up, like they've woken up in the morgue, like in the cabinet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Isn't that also what they will do sometimes? That is a technique, right? To cool them.
Yes.
We did go to medical school.
We did. Yeah. There's an episode of House on this where they like make her hypothermic and they like shut her body down. It's the woman that they found in the ocean with the suitcase, right? The suitcase of medical records.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. Okay. So that makes sense. And then very interesting that it's not only that, but it was the blunt force trauma to the head. So, okay. All right.
Yep. We'll talk more about his injuries, but he had a big gash on the back of his head, skull fractures. So Karen needed to be evaluated as well. The medical note for Karen stated the patient is hysterical. She's actively grieving. She states she doesn't belong in care. She just wants to know what happened to her boyfriend. Karen had no psychiatric history, no suicidal or homicidal ideation, and no auditory or visual hallucinations. The medical note also highlighted that Karen was worried about her husband because they had 2 adopted kids, and she stated she cannot live without him. Karen's father, Bill Reed, was the one to tell her the news when he got there. When he went in her room, he simply said, "He's gone."
Oh, that breaks my heart.
John's family had been to the hospital to ID his body, which his brother Paul said looked like he went 10 rounds with Mike Tyson.
Yikes.
His mother, Margaret, who goes by Peg, said it looked like he was hit by a car. After being released from the hospital and at the family's invitation, Karen went to John's house to be with family, most importantly, Kaylee and Patrick. But Karen...
Those poor kids.
Oh, I know. I know.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I can't.
God.
No kids die in this episode, though.
It's incredible.
I know.
I did tell you to pivot, so appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Karen immediately sensed a hostility that she hadn't expected with John's family. Her father felt it as well and told her it was time to leave.
Yeah.
Karen went upstairs, packed a bag, and hugged Kaylee and Patrick for the last time.
Oh.
When Karen and Bill got home, Bill searched for criminal defense attorneys in Boston.
Smart man.
Yep. Bill found David Yannetti, a former prosecutor turned defense attorney who Bill said on gut instinct looked honest. Bill knew that Karen needed representation given the speed with which the police were zeroing in on her and the fact that the deceased was a Boston police officer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Dad.
Yep.
Bill was right. Within 12 hours of John's death, the Massachusetts State Police seized Karen's SUV and phone. The evidence had been taken in by Trooper Michael Proctor, who becomes pretty infamous in this case. The Canton police realized early on that they were and should be conflicted out of the investigation. Since John was found on the lawn of Brian Albert, who's a police officer's brother. And Trooper Michael Proctor of the Massachusetts State Police, although not part of the Canton Police Department, was a close family friend of the Albert and McCabe family.
Come on.
So close that there were shared Facebook photos, and Michael Proctor's mother commented on a photo of the Albert family, calling them the Proctor's second family.
Okay.
Michael Proctor's sister, Courtney, was such good friends with Brian Albert's sister-in-law, Jennifer McCabe, that they shared 67 phone calls in the 7 months after John's death.
Whoa.
Too close to the case with glaring conflicts of interest, he too should have been recused from the investigation, but was not.
Oh, no.
This would not come out until later, but less than a day into his investigation, Trooper Proctor texted his friends. "There will be serious charges brought on the girl. She's a whack job cunt. Zero chance she skates. She's fucked."
Oh, buddy. And it's so hard because I get if you have a close friend, a person you cared about, you want to go after somebody to get justice and all that. But that's exactly why you shouldn't be on the case.
Right.
You should let unbiased, objective people do that.
100%.
Oh, no.
So a day into the investigation and you're like, I'm going to nail her to the wall.
I'm so upset at how many cases we've done where that happens because, and I get I'm going to go on a slight tangent, but I get that there's a tremendous amount of pressure for people to be able to identify who did it and what happened and bring someone to justice. I get that, but you have to let everything play out. And it's just very frustrating.
We say it all the time. You should be investigating the evidence, not looking for evidence to prove the guilt or innocence of a single person.
Exactly.
Like that tunnel vision is bad.
Yep.
Bad.
Well, and it's like in the Suzanne Joven one where they now, because they put that theory out and that confidence out, people who would have otherwise given tips or given information were like, oh, no, they're good. They've got it. So there's a million reasons why not to do that.
And what was the one that you just covered with the couple that were kidnapped?
I have no idea.
Stop it. With the military guy, he kidnapped them with the goggles.
Denise and Aaron.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Where they were like,
that was light years ago.
I'm like, it was probably like 2 episodes, but anyways.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. But that was, they zeroed in on Aaron, right?
Yeah.
And it was like,
exactly.
It was him. He's like, no.
Yep.
Okay, so And I was thinking, Trooper Proctor's like, well, in my defense, I didn't think anybody would read these except my best friends. It's like, buddy, just assume it's going to be a headline, okay? That's how you should operate as a police officer.
That's how I operate in corporate America, too.
Yep.
For the record, I assume everyone is reading everything I write and hearing everything I say.
Oh, HR has us flagged on Teams for sure.
I'm less concerned about HR, actually. I think they've got popcorn every time our stuff pings.
In a group text, Trooper Proctor said he was searching Karen's phone and reported no nudes so far.
Oh, and you have to be sleazy.
Oh, gross.
Come on. Come on. I was trying to give him the tiniest little bit. Like,
No. Someone said that Brian Albert, whose lawn John was found on, would likely, quote, receive some shit as well. Trooper Proctor responded, nope. Homeowner's a Boston cop, too. Given Karen's alleged statements at the scene, I hit him. Police were interested in the taillights of her SUV.
Sure. Yep.
If she had hit John, her taillight would be damaged, and there would likely be evidence left at the scene. The initial responding officers canvassed the area. Now, remember, it was snowing. Mm-hmm. Given the weather conditions, they used a snowblower to clear the snow and look for any evidence in the roadway and on the lawn. Because it wasn't... I don't think the snow was like that heavy at that point. So I think they had shovels and a snowblower, and they were looking with their feet and digging with their hands. And they were looking for pieces of this tail light, which of course would be red, brake light.
Yep.
At least 4 police officers searched the area and did not find anything.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yep.
Later that same day, Michael Proctor arrived at Karen Reed's parents' house to take possession of her Lexus SUV. Karen's parents, Karen, and a Dighton police officer, Nick Burrows, who is unconnected to Canton or Massachusetts State Police. Yep. They were all present at that time. They all confirmed that Karen's taillight was cracked, but not shattered.
Okay. So
because
therefore
remember,
not dropping.
she hit John's SUV on the way out.
Yep.
As confirmed by surveillance footage, Michael Proctor obtained her vehicle at 4:12 p.m. At 5:30 p.m., Michael Proctor sent out a state emergency response team, also known as a CERT team, to search the Albert yard again. Given the weather, everyone was bundled up in hats and scarves. It was hard to tell anyone apart who was who. Canton police are there, state police are there. It was at that point that the police found, for the first time, large pieces of Karen's taillight right there in the snow where 4 other officers had previously looked. Bright red plastic against the crisp white snow.
Not only would I not have believed this had you not told me about Michael
Proctor.
But now hearing that part too, I have no doubt that's planted. No, not even a little bit. Like, if you hadn't told me that, I would have been like, how do they fucking miss that? Come on. You know, like, how do they miss that? But the fact that he's that sleazy and that hell-bent on getting it, and the timing is, like, exactly spot on. Absolutely.
It's like a fucking movie. Mm-hmm. Can't you... I keep thinking of The Departed because it's like South Boston with Massachusetts State Police and Boston PD, but I can literally picture... Mm-hmm. One of these people pulling it out of their pocket and being like, I found something. Mm-hmm. Timing could not be any more suspicious.
Seriously.
Very bad. Trooper Proctor stated in an affidavit, a sworn document, that he didn't pick up Karen's vehicle until 5:30. However, both Dighton Police and Karen's parents' security cameras confirmed that that was a lie and that he had the vehicle much closer to 4. Why lie? When pressed on the issue, he said it must have been a typo, that he just typed over and over and over again in the affidavit. Mm-hmm. And a week later, after several searches by the CERT team and the police department, the former Canton police chief was driving by 34 Fairview Drive when he spotted more pieces of plastic in the yard. Just these small pieces caught his eye as he's driving by. Yep, just noticed them right in the yard. Checks out. Totally checks out. On February 1st, 2022, 3 days after John's death, Karen was charged with manslaughter, motor vehicle homicide, and leaving the scene of a personal injury or death, and was taken into police custody. Karen pled not guilty and was released on a $50,000 bail. That same day, Karen's lawyer received an interesting phone call. An individual claiming to have a background in Boston law enforcement told David Yannetti that Brian Albert and his nephew had beaten up John on January 29th and that they had taken it too far. John did not regain consciousness, so Albert and an unnamed federal agent put John on the front lawn. The mystery man refused to give a full interview with Mr. Yannetti, and when he pushed him further, he backtracked and said he was only speculating based on photos of John in the news, then backtracked further and recanted the claim altogether.
Oh, that's frustrating.
But this call would stick with David Yannetti. Notably, photos of John had not yet been released at the time of the first call, and a federal agent was at that home, Brian Higgins. And even David and Karen hadn't known that Brian's nephew Colin was in the house, as the tipster said, until later because his name wasn't listed in the police reports.
Oh, man.
Although that point was contested even throughout the trial as to whether or not Colin Albert was there.
Oh, interesting. But I'm curious, because we know that there was no securing of the scene. I'm assuming there were also no pictures of anyone's hands or anything.
So they did get photos. They got photos of, John after he was pronounced dead.
Right.
And both of his eyes were swollen up. Like it looked like he had ping pong balls behind his eyes. Like it did look like he'd gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Both of his hands were bruised.
Like a fight.
Like a fight. One of them, though, said that somebody testified that the bruising on the hand was likely from them trying to put an IV in.
Oh, that happens to me.
And then he also had scratches all over his arm. I'm going to show you some of these
none
photos.
of that happens from a car.
Not
either.
typical. No.
But I actually meant not photos of John, photos of Brian and his hands. Because if he punched someone that hard, I would expect bruising and all that. But I'm guessing there were no pictures.
Correct.
taken.
And someone opined, some article, or it might have been Karen and her lawyers, they thought that perhaps they never came out to the scene because they too had evidence of injuries. Like a bloody lip or a bruised eye or something.
Oh, man, that's
to that
so
extent.
frustrating. Oh, okay.
And the only person that went in were people that were on the Canton Police Department. Yeah. Also interesting, on the day of Karen's arrest, Courtney Proctor texted her brother, Trooper Michael Proctor, that an Albert family member, quote, said when this is all over, she wants to get you a thank you gift.
Okay. Gross. Everyone's so gross, and I don't like it.
Things would only get worse for Karen.
Oh, man.
On June 10th, 2022, Karen and her attorneys were blindsided. A Norfolk County grand jury indicted Karen on charges of second-degree murder, upgraded from the original manslaughter charge. She was rearrested, something she didn't know was a possibility, and something that her defense attorneys were left in the dark about. She was arraigned on the new charges, pleaded not guilty, and made her increased $100,000 bail. Although the DA had requested bail be set at $500,000. And Karen thinks that they went for the upgraded charges to try to force a plea.
I also didn't know that could happen. They just have to have enough evidence and enough to win over the court, right? To get the
Matt, we don't have grand juries in Connecticut.
Okay.
But basically, the grand juries hear the evidence that they have and determine basically whether they can proceed with.
So you couldn't just endlessly upgrade things. You have to have enough. You have to have evidence or something that wins over and warrants that.
Yes.
But that's. Yep. Okay.
Wow. And David Yannetti, her attorney, he's like, I know this is a bad time, but my fees for murder double.
I mean, it's his living, but
I know. It's like,
this is why I wouldn't do well with, this is why I can't work anywhere that
I'll do it for $5. I feel so bad.
Yeah, but it's like literally his livelihood.
It is. It is. And you have to figure like the time he spends here, he can't work on other clients. Like he needs. Yeah.
But that's so shitty.
Yeah. Karen knew that her freedom was on the line. Rather than back down from her expensive defense attorney, she leaned in and enlisted even more help.
Hell yes.
She emailed Alan Jackson. There's a country joke to be made here.
I was going to say.
And I was texting my friend about this case, and I told her about Alan Jackson. And she's like, I'm just picturing a boot-scooting country attorney. So Alan Jackson was an LA-based defense attorney who was known as one of the best and most expensive lawyers in California.
I do feel like I recognize his name beyond the country singer, but I'm not able to pull that information from my brain. I just wanted to...
It's 5:00 somewhere. This attorney gets hundreds of requests a month for his services, but Karen's email caught his eye. The subject line being murder of a Boston cop.
Yeah.
She told Alan, I'm fighting for my life against a blue wall and therefore marshaling whatever resources, advice I can find.
Oh, I have goosebumps.
So when she first reached out to him, they were just looking for help, I think, on some motions that he had worked on. He worked on a similar case with the data they were looking at. But on a phone call with Karen, he agreed to share those motions, but he also asked to hear more about her case. Karen told him that she was being accused of fatally hitting her boyfriend, a police officer, with her SUV, and Alan wanted to see photos of John's injuries. Alan saw John's bruised and swollen eyes, cuts above his right eye and nose, and his right arm, which looked like it had been clawed.
That's so... Okay, go on. Sorry.
Alan said John's arm showed an animal attack. And if anyone is claiming that's from a car, it's bullshit.
Okay. That's what you want to hear.
And he was on the case.
Wow.
Speaking of animal attacks, the Alberts had a dog.
I was going to say, like, where is this animal coming from?
A German Shepherd named Chloe, who was, quote, not great with strangers. And she was kept in the basement when people were over. Chloe had a history of being aggressive. In 2018, a Canton resident, let's call her Jan, was walking her golden doodle past the Albert yard when Chloe attacked her dog until someone from the Albert home came out and called Chloe's name. The resident brought her bloody dog to the veterinarian, who told Jan that Chloe needed to be reported to animal control. Based on the severity and location of the bite, the veterinarian said that Chloe was trying to kill her dog.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I wish I had the stats off the top of my head, but German Shepherds have an insane PSI. Like the
bite force?
The lock of their jaw.
Oh my God.
You like cannot. So my dad and my stepmom have 2 German Shepherds who are not like that. Although one of them is named Chloe, which is kind of
that's
crazy.
Weird.
But anyway, the lock, when they lock down, you literally, like my dog, I have golden retrievers, and you can pull their jaws apart. Like maybe I can't because I'm pretty weak, but like my husband could.
Yeah.
But you can't, you literally, they like lock.
That's
you cannot.
crazy.
And then the bite PSI is like insane. I was watching, of course, on TikTok, something
That's
about
crazy.
like, it's like close to like I don't remember, like a lion or a
You're
tiger
gonna
or
make
a bear.
something
Oh
up.
my.
A great white shark.
Yeah. No, that was on the list too.
Okay.
But anyway, really crazy. So,
Dude.
So that's my contribution.
Okay. Well,
Please
Chloe
continue.
tried to kill this tiny golden doodle.
Poor thing.
So Jan called Canton police and was told that animal control was out and they'd call her back. She left her information and she received a call back, but it was from Brian Albert's brother, Kevin, the Canton cop. He called Jan's husband with a message from the police chief. How can we make this thing go away?
Come on.
Jan was nervous about the encounter and scared of running into Chloe again, so much so that she began carrying pepper spray on her walks.
Yeah.
And 3 months after John's death, Chloe attacked another dog and the woman who tried to intervene, forcing the Alberts to rehome the dog.
Oh.
The injuries on John's right arm look suspiciously like dog bites or scratches.
Really?
If you pause it, I'll show you a picture.
Okay, so we were full on discussing this and then realized like that's the whole point.
We're on a podcast.
Whole point of the podcast. Okay, so my first reaction is, okay, doesn't appear to be from, so she showed me the what you are all hopefully looking at, the John's arm. I agree, doesn't look like it's from being hit by a car, but I was disagreeing a bit with it looking like it was from a dog bite because I was looking for like puncture wounds. But there's like a comparison that Marina was just showing of a person who had been attacked by dogs, you said. And I agree it looks similar, but I think there are way more, it's more the puncture that I would expect, especially from a German Shepherd.
But I also wonder, okay, so first of all, he was wearing a sweatshirt.
Right,
and I
that's
think,
fair, yeah.
So Karen's thought was that John got into a fight with these people and the dog went crazy. And I'm guessing people were trying to pull the dog. So like say she couldn't get a good grip and they were pulling him and her teeth were like scraping on his arm.
Yeah, I can see it. Either way, I don't think, like, how would that possibly have come from? Like her little, even in their fabricated breaking of the taillight, like, how is all of that coming from?
Oh, the taillight exploded.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
On his arm.
Funny story. My grandmother-in-law, my husband's grandmother, I've never had to say that, had to go to the mechanic because her side view mirror had like broken. And obviously it was because she hit a mailbox. Like, cause she was like, you can't see me doing this obviously on the podcast, but like when she'd see something interesting, she would turn the wheel to look along with her head. And she went to the mechanic and they were like, oh yeah, you know, those mirrors just explode. She came back and told us that. We were like, oh, okay.
Oh,
so that just reminded me of that. Anyway,
that's funny. And I was just trying to look up quickly a picture of his autopsy photos just to show you. So this was his face.
Oh
he had been intubated.
It went away, but I saw it briefly. Oh, there we go.
That's right.
Yikes. Oh my God, his eyes. Poor guy.
And this was the head wound.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like.
Oh, and this was his hand, which I can see that one being IV.
Yeah,
IVs.
I agree.
But I don't
like
know
again,
what...
if it's just, it's not. Yeah, if it's if it was just that taillight, like the rest of her car isn't dented. It's not. You know what I mean? Like,
Nope.
Doesn't make any sense. So even if I'm not bought fully into the dog attack, yes, it's a possibility, but I just still don't see it matching to the car. Anyway, oh boy.
Okay. So in July 2022, Kevin Albert, Brian Albert's brother, I'm just going to keep labeling these people in case people forget. Yeah. It helps me as well.
And by people, you mean Laura.
And myself.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, in my notes halfway through, I changed Jennifer's name to Julie, and there is a Julie. And I was like, God. Oh no. I had to like go back through and change everything. I like confused myself. So Kevin Albert, Brian Albert's brother, was working a cold case with Trooper Michael Proctor. They went out drinking together, and Trooper Proctor texted Kevin the next day to let him know that he left his badge in his car.
Oh my God.
Kevin replied, "Did I take my gun?" with a wincing emoji face.
Oh my God. Not funny.
This
guys.
is like one of those shitty cop movies.
Exactly.
Isn't there a movie where the cop keeps leaving his gun somewhere?
Probably.
There must be.
I don't know any of your movie references. So.
I tried to Google it, and the movie that kept coming up with was Missing Gun, and that's definitely not what I was thinking of.
Are you using ChatGPT again?
It hates me.
It does hate you.
It hates me. Brian Albert and others that were there that night claimed that John never even made it inside the home. John's Apple Health data showed that after 12:20, about the time he was dropped off at Brian's, he took 80 steps, the equivalent of half of a football field, and went up or down 3 flights of stairs.
Interesting.
Karen thought from the very start that those inside Brian Albert's house fought with him. He was attacked by the dog. Things went too far, got out of hand. And the presumption was that they were all in his basement, although Brian's home was never searched. And it couldn't be, because Brian sold the home in 2023.
Oh my God.
And the flooring in the basement had been changed. But Brian's spokesperson said it was at the suggestion of the real estate agent due to pre-existing water damage.
Convenient. I'm stuck because you know me and maps. I'm stuck on the 80 feet is, 80 steps is half a football field, but I guess that doesn't, and I guess, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I took that from something.
No, that's probably legitimate.
Depends on your gate.
Yeah, that's literally where my mind was at. Okay.
Back off, Laura. But, take it for what it's worth.
So we're saying, and then the elevation, you have an Apple Watch too. Like it gets a little confused sometimes.
It does.
But I guess I could see, okay. So I'm thinking through, I'm also thinking like, would his Apple Watch have done like elevated heart rate? You know what I mean? Like I feel like it would have a wealth of data. And then like at what point did it stop? Not his heart stop, but like his pulse, all that should be in there, right?
Well, they didn't talk about it.
So if you were investigating it properly, not you. If you were investigating it properly.
No, nobody had that. No. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
It's with the pictures of Brian's hands.
Correct. Yep. Yes. And his eyes. Yep. It was clear that proceeding to the trial was inevitable. And it was also clear that the police were not going to truly investigate John's death.
That's so frustrating.
Rather, the police spent their time looking for evidence to prove Karen's guilt. It helps when you plant the evidence.
I was going to say, you mean planting,
super
not
helpful.
Just looking for.
Yep. So Karen investigated it herself. She hired a private investigator to assist her in gathering evidence. She saw any security footage from homes on Fairview. Brian Albert had a security camera that his wife gave him, but he never installed it. Those that had cameras said it didn't pick up anything from 34 Fairview. You know, everybody on that freaking street has a Ring camera.
Absolutely.
Bullshit.
And in no way, shape, or form am I going to get involved in that. No. Like if I lived across the street from them,
You're the next person on the lawn.
literally, I'd
Basically.
be like, it's broken. The battery's dead. Sorry.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you
You rip it out and you're like, somebody stole it.
Yeah, literally. And then poor Karen, like I'm thinking about how much money I know it's not just about the money, but like without a doubt, I would do the same thing. I would sell every item I owned because if you don't get the best defense attorney you can, you're going to jail and you don't need all your stuff.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Exactly.
And best case, you can get all that back, I think.
And you're
right?
up
Can you
against
sue them?
all
How does
these
that work?
police officers.
If she were to win, or whoever, in this type of case, can you sue them for all the legal fees?
No.
Really?
Not unless she could prove, like, if the state had enough evidence to proceed to trial and they got a not guilty verdict, like, that's it. She's out the legal fees.
Really?
If they got charged with something like evidence tampering or something, she could sue them.
Oh, that's so shitty. So if you laid out every penny you owned to defend your life and got a not guilty, you're just fucked.
Yep.
That's so shitty. Okay, sorry.
Correct.
Okay. Wow.
And there is a fund, like a lot of places have a fund if you are wrongfully convicted and then they find out later that you were innocent and they took like 20 years of your life.
Well, that's different.
Some places have a fund to pay you back. And I remember one instance where this guy got out and they gave him, I don't know, say $2 million. And then it happened again because they were running more DNA evidence and they were like, sorry, we don't have any money. We just paid that other guy all the money.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the criminal justice system is not always fair.
Oh, no. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm a lawyer and I'm like, who could afford a lawyer? It's crazy. Who could do it? It's insane.
I'll be requesting your services.
Yeah. You don't want me. A criminal.
Yeah, but you're all I can afford.
Yeah. I've got friends. The hope was that the defense could find camera footage showing that Karen's back tail light was intact when the prosecution alleged that she had already hit John and left him for dead in the snow. She did have her parents and that Dighton police officer, but if they could get, video proof,
of course,
that would be helpful. They were in luck that the local library had a security camera that Karen had driven by on her way home that night. The Canton Police Department had already obtained the footage from the library, which the defense requested from the prosecution. And your face is saying that you already know what's going to happen.
I know. Was it lost in transit?
When the defense team reviewed the footage had a 2-minute gap.
You're kidding me.
Nope. I bet you can guess what was missing during that time gap.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
It's infuriating because you can't prove, like, of course it could be a coincidence, but it's not. And you can't prove that. And I was actually thinking, I was worried it was going to be like too grainy or something, even in 2022, 24.
22 to 24 is like when the case is happening.
Yeah.
There's a saying, 1 time is a mistake, 2 times is a coincidence, 3 times is on purpose. Or a conspiracy.
Don't.
The cats were like, I am mad.
But that's exactly it. Like it's not just this one thing that was a frustrating thing. Like it's on top of everything else.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so, okay.
Yep. And overall, the defense team struggled to get discovery. They had to file motions to compel with the court. They were provided blurry JPEG copies of photographs, which they found out later came from phones that don't exist anymore, so they couldn't get the metadata. The defense realized much of the evidence they sought either was never gathered, was improperly gathered, or was intentionally withheld.
And even though you can still come back and be like, you're not giving me what I'm asking for, it's the whole time it's delaying everything. And all like new, people are re-recording over things. Things are getting lost. People's memories are fading. Like time is of the essence and they're just using that to their advantage.
Correct. A year after John's death, the defense team got a partial extraction from Jennifer McCabe's phone. The Massachusetts State Police had reviewed Jennifer's phone and determined there was no relevant search history.
Okay.
Jennifer's cell phone and the extraction data were turned over to Richard Green, who was Karen's expert at trial. They found that Jennifer Googled, there's a typo, but I'm going to read it how it should be. How long to die in cold?
Stop.
At 2:27 a.m. on January 29th, and later deleted the search.
How is that not okay? That's circumstantial, right? Okay, but that's like come on. How could you possibly defend? How could you possibly have an explanation for what that is?
Okay, well, I'll give you the spoiler alert version of it. So variations of that search were also made at 6:23 and 6:24. Jennifer indicated that she searched that at the request of Karen when they had discovered John's body.
At 6 something, but not the 2 something.
So the search became a battle of the experts at trial. And ultimately, they said that 2:27 is when that window was opened, not when the search was made.
Oh my God.
So they had one expert saying, that's not proof she searched it at that time. That's just when she opened that window and then she searched for it at 6:23. And then the defense expert said, no, I checked the data. That was searched at 2:27.
That for us. So I'm like loosely in IT, like in that I don't actually understand everything, but like I know enough. I know enough to know that someone would know exactly how that works.
Yes.
And why they literally contact Apple. Like, I'm assuming it was an iPhone, right?
I think so.
Of course. Because fuck Samsung. Sorry, I feel very
We just
strongly
lost
about that.
half our listeners.
They're like, all your users are iPhones. That's weird. Yeah, but that's okay. Because fuck you. Just kidding. But like, someone knows that answer. That's not like it's code. It's
right.
It's fact. It's not up for interpretation.
Apparently it is.
Oh, that's so okay.
Apparently
Right.
it is.
Like
we're gonna get
flushed.
We're gonna get
I'm
more
getting
into it, dude.
flushed.
This is why I was screaming at people's faces.
Yeah,
it's insane.
And now you're screaming at my face.
Aren't I always?
Yeah.
I got here and was screaming in your face.
You
and
got
Laura's
here?
like, I'm right here. I
Your
said,
house?
you got here.
Oh yeah, I did. Sorry, I couldn't
When you
hear
just
it through
got
my
here.
bleeding eardrums.
Turn me down, bitch. I don't know what to tell you.
Go find less.
Okay, so again, the search would become an issue at trial. We'll talk more about it.
And it's so significant because the story,
Incredibly.
obviously, that works for reasonable doubt. Whatever that works, as an explanation for 6 something in the morning. But it sure doesn't at 2:27.
Okay, and if Jennifer McCabe searched that at 2:27, to me, that's the case.
That's what I'm saying.
You're done.
Yeah. Okay.
You're done now. Okay. So, Richard Green also determined that Jennifer deleted 18 phone calls from January 29th, including calls to her sister Nicole, who is Brian Albert's wife, at 6:07 a.m. and 6:08 a.m., and those calls were answered, which is weird because the Alberts said they slept through the whole thing. Weird. You know what they said it was?
I was going to say, so what's that explanation?
They said it was all butt dials.
But it was answered.
Yep, answered butt dials.
But so they were awake.
Nope, the answer was a butt dial. Like,
That's not how a butt dial works.
nope. I was like, what
That's a butt answer.
I was like, you guys all using Nokia flip phones? Like, what's
No, they're
going on?
using Samsungs.
They
That's the
are, oh my
problem.
God, do Samsungs pick up butt dials automatically?
I just want to be clear. I'm not against specifically Samsung. I'm against anything that's not iPhone.
Okay.
Okay. Including Nokia.
Okay. Well, I think all these people are using flip phones because there was lots of butt dials. And answered, I can't tell you the last time that my iPhone just picked up a call while I was sleeping.
When everyone in my house was sleeping.
Can't even tell you last time that happened.
Maybe they had their phones in bed with them.
Maybe.
And they rolled over at that exact moment.
You know what? It's possible.
I should be aware.
It's possible. The defense also obtained some evidence.
That's your foot. Sorry. I'm kicking you under the table here. Sorry.
Well, now it's my foot. Okay. The defense also, I was like about to drop a bomb on you, and you're over here playing footsie with me.
Sorry. This case.
The defense, you ready?
Ready.
The defense also obtained evidence from the feds. 10 months after John's death, the Office of the U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts impaneled a federal grand jury as part of an investigation into an unspecified federal crime related to Norfolk County's handling of Karen's case. And the FBI also got involved.
I like where this is going. I'm still a little nervous because I think the nature it is for officers to protect officers, and I generally support that, obviously.
That's
but
why
it makes me
the
a
feds
little
get involved, though.
Okay, so they don't have that same
level,
like
correct,
fraternity type thing. Okay,
I mean, I'm sure like you might still get the benefit of the doubt if it can be given.
Yeah,
but I'm going to give you another example where you'll be like, yeah, the feds are on it.
Okay, good.
Many of the key players were called to testify in front of the grand jury, including the Alberts and the McCabes. And this is not in my notes, but they were like, it's very interesting and bizarre to have the feds and the state government like investigating the same crime, like interviewing the same witnesses.
Yeah.
There was a lawyer that was like, in my 20 years, this has never happened. Like, it was crazy.
Well, it is because there is, maybe it's just because I'm from around here and I don't know other states' state police, but like Massachusetts state police is like I don't know how to say it. Like, they are brothers and sisters. They are protected. Like, it's such an intense thing that
they are the blue wall of silence.
And then every local police department is there too. Like, there's just something about that where like I feel like your inclination is to protect and to side with them. So even if the state police had weren't involved whatsoever, like they are biased. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't mean on an individual basis. Like, obviously, like, people are doing their best jobs and all that. But
this is why Karen was so fucked.
Yes. Yeah.
So that federal investigation is ongoing. And there's no information as to what exactly is being investigated, but it certainly lends credence to the defense theory that something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing yet. Before Karen's trial began, the feds provided more than 3,000 pages of findings to the defense and Commonwealth, including Trooper Proctor's texts about Karen that we talked about earlier. There were more.
Of course there were. Of course. That's not a one-off.
One of them, he said, "She's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though. No ass."
Such a sleaze. Like, I don't even
objectifying her.
Yeah, like that he's talking about someone like that just makes me uncomfortable.
This is gonna make you upset as well. So remember I said that she had the intestinal issues? He texted, "She's got a leaky balloon knot. Leaks poo."
Very weird that I just heard that phrase for a butthole today on TikTok on a really, really funny story.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. I have not. It makes perfect sense. Great description. But literally, it was a TikTok on somebody explaining how they had to go in. They went into like urgent care for something, and they needed the nurse was like, "Oh, I have to like do something on your butt or whatever." She misunderstood. She didn't realize all she had to do was like drop trow and like give a cheek.
Oh.
She was bent over, spread.
Showing her balloon knot?
Yes. And so really strange. Now it's definitely on my TikTok. Because we're talking
You're
about
getting all of the buttholes.
But that's really fucked up. It's like I'm making a joke because that is weird that's just, now I've said balloon knot too many times.
Right.
But what a shitbag.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Gross. He's just... I don't like people talking about me in general, but like that's so intimate and like so
he's reading
like
through her information.
It's disgusting. Disgusting.
Yep. He said, waiting to lock this whack job up, and what could be considered the most offensive, hopefully she kills herself.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this guy's
and it's way beyond like protecting a friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Justice,
like
right?
sinister.
That is like someone who's like a sadist, you know what I mean? Like he just wants, like, that has nothing to do, you're not doing that because you're trying to, like, you're angry because your friend died, like, or that your friend's on trial rather. It's just shitty.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
The federal investigation also found that Brian Albert destroyed his cell phone the day before receiving a protective order to preserve it and its contents.
And that would be after John died. Okay.
Brian said that was just a coincidence. He was due for an upgrade.
And that's what you do? That's what I do. I destroy my phone. Destroy it.
I throw it in a fire with the SIM card.
Yeah.
I give it up to the Samsung gods.
Yeah. Come on. Like, it's just, and I know you said that you would be biased and that like you would be presenting something a certain way, and you're right. I'm pretty sure you can tell which side I fall on all this. Yeah. But I'm having a really hard time because I do play devil's advocate. I do like to think about like, what's the explanation.
There's too much.
It is, and unless there's stuff that's missing, that's like, I don't even like, even if you told me that Karen was actually mad at him and they were having, and we know they were having trouble and like all that, even if you thought she was capable of not even purposely killing him, if you actually thought it was accidental, which second degree, so fine. Like, none of the pieces fit to make that happen.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't, fine. Maybe it wasn't Brian. I don't know what happened, but I don't think Karen did it.
You know what they call that? Reasonable doubt.
Yeah. Oh man. What do you do in that case?
You do not vote them guilty.
Right.
That's
Yep.
not the way that you say it, but I just got really excited and words escaped my brain. Okay. Brian Higgins, the ATF agent who'd been at the Albert House on January 29th, asked another federal agent a day later for advice on extracting cell phone data. Months later, he drove to a military base to dispose of his destroyed cell phone and SIM card.
Come on.
Brian Higgins said he did this because he was the target of an investigation. The target of an investigation had obtained his contact information. So he said he had to destroy it.
But wouldn't you like do that through proper means? Do you know what I mean? Like if it's really related to a case you're working on, like aren't there ways to go about that? It's not some sketchy text your friend and figure it out. You know what I mean?
Can't you just like change your phone number?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, even if you had to delete it and completely destroy it, like, I'm pretty sure they have procedures in place for such a thing.
And it's probably a federal phone.
Or wouldn't you just ask someone, like, that you're in that building?
No, you light it on fire.
Yeah.
The feds also determined that Brian Higgins went from Brian Albert's home straight to the Canton police station on January 29th, even though he was off duty and had been drinking. He spent most of the day at the police station, still off duty, walking into the garage where Karen's car was kept, and he left around 6 p.m. that night.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
I could have accepted him just hanging around there. Fine. Maybe you have friends. I don't know.
Are you going to go to your place of work intoxicated? That's not even where he works. He's a federal agent.
Oh, right.
And it's Canton PD.
Okay, no, still can't make it work. I'm trying.
A crash reconstruction expert hired by federal officials probing the investigation concluded John's injuries were inconsistent with the damage on the car.
No shit, Sherlock.
That the damage on the car was inconsistent with having made contact with John O'Keefe's body.
So even if the evidence wasn't planted, even if that truly was there and it just was just the perfect set of circumstances that they didn't see it, fine. That's my point. Right. Is like that is not it, you would have a dent in the side panel. You would have like
just wait. Just you wait. Okay. The federal investigation also found a 22-second call between Brian Albert and Brian Higgins at 2:22 a.m. 5 minutes before Jennifer searched allegedly how long to die in cold.
Or randomly opened a browser and then did she search nothing? I'm really stuck on that.
Oh, she was looking up nothing sports else or something, but if that was the case, I don't know why that search wouldn't come up at 2:27. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nothing else is coming. Okay. It's fucking bullshit.
I'm also a tech expert.
Yeah.
Like Jack of all trades. These men, this 22-second call, the men said that both the dialing and pickup of those calls were butt dials.
Okay. All right. Okay. They're just trying the age-old just blatantly lie.
Oh, yeah. Like, no.
Just this is okay.
But you know what? If people are going to make stuff up, you can't pin them down on anything because they just lie.
I know.
Like they'll look you right in the face and be like, I don't know what to tell you. It was a butt dial. I didn't pick it up and talk to them.
And they're picking the things that you can't prove.
Right.
Like you can't prove that it wasn't a butt dial.
One of them was you kind of can't because it was 22 seconds, but one of them on the stand was like, you can't even have a conversation in 22 seconds. And I thought of all the videos that we send where you'd be surprised how much information fits in like 17 seconds.
People who give presentations at work also need to understand that.
Oh yeah. 17 seconds is a lifetime. Mm-hmm. You can have a very long conversation in 22 seconds.
Yep.
And the defense's example was like, hey, I took care of it. Do you need help lifting that heavy thing? We're good. No one say anything.
Right.
Bye.
And that's and by the way, people in South Boston speak a lot faster than that.
Fucking move the body.
Your Boston accent's marginally better than your Australian one.
They're all pretty bad, but Charlene! That one's pretty good. It's a great movie, by the way, The Fighter. Okay, so as a note, here you go. You want to talk about the Massachusetts State Police? This isn't the first time the Massachusetts... That would be Massachusetts and attorney together as one. The Massachusetts Attorney General. This is not the first time that office had to step in on Norfolk County cases where this alleged tall blue wall may be at play. In 2021, a pregnant 23-year-old woman named Sandra Birchmore was found hanging from her closet door handle by her gym bag strap in an apparent suicide.
Yikes.
Sandra's family hired a forensic pathologist who concluded that she died by strangulation. A few months later, federal prosecutors charged Stoughton police officer Matthew Farwell with murdering Sandra to cover up a sexual relationship that began when she was underage and that resulted in her pregnancy.
Wow.
Farwell murdered Sandra hours before his wife gave birth to their third child.
All that in so few sentences. That's so awful. That entire thing is so awful.
Yep.
That poor girl.
And two other Stoughton police officers, Matthew's twin brother, William Farwell, is a family tradition, and Robert Devine were also found to have engaged in sexual...
I know you're excited, but I need the entire word.
Okay. Engaged in sexual relations with Sandra.
Oh, God.
I'm like trying to get to the punchline.
I know.
When the feds stepped in to investigate, they found the Massachusetts State Police investigation to be wholly inadequate.
Oh, no.
For example, the state police said they didn't find any text messages between Sandra and Matthew Farwell. The FBI found, this is a real number, 32,709 text messages.
Come on.
Including a text from Sandra to a friend that said Matthew dropped by her house in an upbeat mood. He said if she keeps the baby a secret, he'll be around. And then he looked in her closet. She said, I don't know why. Haven't figured that out yet.
Come on.
And then she died.
In her closet.
Yep.
She died.
Yep. So The Departed was obviously a nonfiction movie. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Okay. We won't get too far into this because we have still have more to cover. But it's just very frustrating to me because there are men and women who put their lives on the line every single day to protect people and who are so pure-hearted and all they want to do is help people. And it's things like this that give entire departments or organizations a bad name, and it's completely unfounded for most people.
One bad apple spoils the bunch.
It's true, and it frustrates me. And then you add to that those people are in such power, such authorities, have so much control over people's lives. It's just infuriating. And again, like most men and women who serve are thank God they do. But it's so it's like doubly frustrating to me. That would be awful in the first place. But then on top of that, to like spoil the name of all these other people who literally will die on the line to protect other people. Okay. All right.
And dude, how do you think the FBI and the Massachusetts Attorney General feel? They're probably like, can you guys fucking stop?
Yep.
Like, can you get it together?
Yep.
That's probably why they're like, we're just going to double check some of your real shitty cases. Yeah. We're just going to take a second look here.
That you like have a vested interest in.
Yeah.
Like those ones seem, we're just going to check those out.
Yeah, sure. Oh, by the way, the chief of the Canton police was like, by the way, I think we could have investigated this case neutrally.
Come on.
They might have done a better job than Michael Proctor.
True.
Who knows?
That's true.
Who knows?
That's true.
All right, back to Karen. With some fresh information from the feds, off to trial they went.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk all about Karen's trial in part 2.
We don't do it on purpose.
We don't.
We
don't do it on purpose. But this is always one of those situations where Laura's like, you just need to talk about it. All of it.
And I have to process out loud.
I know.
That's why we have a podcast.
So, like, sorry guys, but also you're welcome.
It's a Marina case, so you know it's good.
It was. I'm jazzed about this case, but you know what else I'm jazzed about? Whoa.
It's like a language.
Whoa.
It's like if we're ever separated in a crowd, first of all, I'll be able to hear you. But second of all,
I yell Marco.
Yeah, that's true. That is our app.
But you can hear whoa
instead of Polo. Marco. Whoa. Okay. Anyway,
all right. Anyways,
you know what time it is.
So you know that 97% of the listeners were like, and delete. Okay.
Yep.
So as promised, we have Patreon shout-outs. Woo. First up, we have Erica P. Erica, thank you so much.
Thank you, Erica.
Second, we have Laura.
Great name.
You're the best.
Great name.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Piper.
Thank you.
Oh. It's like, what? Piper T.
Piper T. Thank you, Piper. We love you.
We love you so much. Vermilion Van Vickle. Vermilion Van Vickle. We love you
We
so
love you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. B. Clark. B. Clark.
P or B?
Laura was doing that thing where she waits for me to say it again because she doesn't know. B as in boy.
B. Okay.
B as in banter.
B.
B as in
B. Clark.
B. Clark. We love you.
We love you.
B as in B. Clark. We love you so much. Thank you.
Woo woo.
Casey M.
Casey, we love you,
We love
Casey.
you so
Thank you
much,
very
Casey.
much.
Thank you. Jasmine.
Jasmine.
We love you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jeanette L.
Jeanette,
we love you so much.
We love you. Thank you, Jeanette. We love you.
Like you. Jeanette L. We love you. Thank you. Holly J.
Holly.
We love you
Holly.
so much, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you. You're the best. Ashley B. RN.
Ashley B.
Ashley B. RN.
Are you a nurse? Because thank you very much.
She's a nurse. We love
Thank
you so much.
Thank you for what you do. We love you.
Yeah, tell us about your Ashley's medical corner.
Oh,
We love a good
It
nurse
took me a
discussion.
second. Okay, yes, we do.
Lola.
Lola. We love you.
so much. Danae W.
Danae.
We love you
We
so
love you, Danae.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next up, we have Andrew C., who subscribed for his lovely bride-to-be, Casey.
Oh, congratulations.
Andrew C. for his lovely bride-to-be, Casey.
We love you.
We love you so
Holy
much.
matrimony. We love you.
And I think everyone should give the gift of us.
We give it to each other every day. And our husbands also benefit from it every day.
That's so sweet. And actually, somebody else got their wife the gift of us. We made a personalized video.
Yeah, that was
for
fun.
Christmas.
Well, actually, we made two.
We did. We made one that was like, this is acceptable. And then the other one was off the rails.
And, we let them choose.
Yeah. Andrew C. for his lovely bride-to-be, Casey.
For real, though, that's like the sweetest thing.
So
And
sweet.
his
We love you
message
so
was so
much.
sweet. You picked a winner, Casey. Congratulations.
Congratulations on your wedding. Brianna B.
Brianna. We love you, Brianna.
We love you so much.
Thank you.
Mary Jo.
Mary Jo.
We love you so
We
much.
love you, Mary Jo. Thank you.
Ariel D.
Ariel.
We want to
Thank
be
you,
part
Ariel.
of your world. We love you so much. Laura's face. Kate H. We love you so much.
Kate, thank you very much.
You're
Kate,
the best.
We love you.
JW.
JW.
We love you so much.
We
Thank
love
you.
you.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Emma L.
Emma.
Emma L. We love you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much, Emma.
Thank you. Whoa. Kathy C., who is my sister's friend. She does
thank you,
art
Maria's
at her
sister's friend, Kathy C.
studio. Kathy C., we love you so much.
We love you, Kathy.
She joined my sister texted me and she was like, Kathy wants to know when you're going to cover the updates on Delphi. And I was like, we covered it in a P-Bony and it's already out. And she was like, oh. And then she joined.
Well,
so thank you so much, Kathy C.
Can you ask Lisa to do the next episode that she's got out there, because she does really great episodes and she gets a lot of love on her Instagram messages. So
woo
the woo woo.
Woo woo.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, Kathy
Thanks,
C.
Kathy.
Amelia.
Thank
you so
you,
much.
Amelia.
We love you. Jack Snack.
Jack Snack. We love you, Jack Snack.
Thank you so much. We love you so much. Brienne T. Brienne. We love you so much. Brienne.
Okay.
T.
Okay.
Like Brienne of
you.
Tarth, but not Brienne T.
We love you. We love you.
We love you so much. Thank you. Nicole L.
Nicole, we love you.
We
Nicole.
love you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Krista C.
Krista. We love you, Krista.
We love you so much, Krista.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you so much. Amber V.
Amber. We love you,
Thank
Amber.
you so much.
Thank you.
You're the best. Megan S.
Megan. We
You're
have
the
to
best.
repeat the name. I'm like trying to not do that, but I have to.
Oh, you have to. That's how you do the shout out.
It's just how it has to
I
be.
announce the name and then
we
we
repeat
shout
it.
it
Yeah.
out.
We love you.
Megan S. We love you. Camber S.
Camber. We love you.
We love you so
Thank you very much.
much. Are you ready for the next one?
Kitty Boo Boo. Oh, Kitty Boo Boo. I remember. Yep, I remember seeing that
We
one
love
come
you
in.
so much. Tell your
We love
kitty
you.
I said.
Was that the same person?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I can't remember. I
don't know.
can't remember the things. Rachel R. We love you so much.
Rachel, we love you.
You're the best.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
Maddie.
Maddie.
We
love you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're the best.
Woo.
April R.
April.
Thank you so
We love
much.
you, April. Thank you.
You're the best. Okay, and this one, I think, I'm going to let you do it.
Louis?
I think it's Lois. There's
Lois.
lips.
Lois is Lois.
There's lips next to it.
I know, but Lois is Lois. So it's not that. It's either Louis or Louis.
Lois?
Yes. That's how you spell
Lois.
No. That's how you spell Lois.
Is it?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I think you're wrong.
Yes. No.
Oh, and Louise.
All the Loi are going to come out of the woodwork. Okay. And they're going to tell you how they pronounce or how they spell their names. And it's going to be Lois. Unless they're
and
in
Louise has
plural.
an E.
And a U. It's not like poise. That would be Lois.
That's
Louise. Yep.
Okay.
So Louis.
Could this be Louis?
Yes, that's one of the two that I said. I said Louis or Louis. Mwah and mwah is on the either side. So mwah, Louis, mwah. Okay. Okay.
Louis Lewis. We love you
Louis.
so much. Apparently, I don't know how to spell Lois, Louise,
All the Loi come out.
Louis.
Tell us.
Don't come for me.
You don't even have to say anything. You just put a little heart on the response.
I love the kissy lips. Louis.
The kissy lips are great. That's what my son does. He learned how to give kisses, and he goes.
Oh,
it's really cute.
I don't know how to say names. It's really bad. I'm so sorry.
I'm so glad you did all the shout outs, and that's why I wait to hear you say it.
Louis Lewis, we love you.
We love you.
You're the best.
So much.
Please don't hate me. I'm not that smart sometimes.
We know.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right. You guys are literally the best. That was so many. My stomach hurts from laughing now. So funny. I don't know how to spell names. Okay. If you're enjoying listening to Grimm, please rate and follow us wherever you listen to podcasts to make sure you don't miss any episodes. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, make our day by leaving us a written review. You can find our page on Facebook by searching Grimm: a True Crime Podcast. If you want to subscribe to our Patreon and get your own shout out, that is just, I'm so great. You can go to Patreon and search Grimm: a True Crime Podcast. If subscriptions aren't your thing, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Grimm Crime Podcast. If you donate $5 or more and send me your address, we will send the first 200 donors a 4-inch Grimm die cut sticker, which is pretty sweet. Follow us on Instagram at Grimm Crime Podcast. I just really wanted to build up for information on future episodes and case photos. If you want to send us a case suggestion or just say hi, you can email us at grimmcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Listen, learn, and stay alive until next time, because the future is grim.